to see them. Okay. Let me, Daniel, you can start to share your screen. And okay, before Daniel start, I just let you guys know that and Daniel was trained last year at MakeX. So Daniel is really get some pretty decent knowledge and understanding about the MakeX and mBot. So he's also very good on the programming besides the Scratch, Python, and a lot of other stuff. So we are really appreciate Daniel come over here as an instructor. He is really one of the best instructor I ever met. So yeah, I will give the control to Daniel. You can share your screen and start your course. Thank you.
All right, got it. I will start sharing the screen now. Just 1 minute. All right. All right, are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. As I was saying before, my name is Daniel. I'm actually studying computer science, so this is something very interesting for me, and I hope it's going to be interesting for you guys as well. We have some material to cover today, but it's going to be per se something very general. It's just like an introduction of what we will be doing, and you will see a little bit of a demonstration of the things that we can do with programming, and in this case with this guy right here, with this mBot. All right, which is just a robot that we can use to put our programs here in the memory so that it can run later on and do any sort of different things that we program it to do. Okay. So before I go any further, actually, I wanted to ask you first. I want to see if I can get to know a little bit more about you guys. So, for example, and also it's going to help me as well. So we have so far. We have Eric here, we have Kevin, we have Jonathan, Annie, Valentina, Ellie, and I have the other one, I don't know, I believe it's in Mandarin, I can't really read it.
Yeah, it's
Liu. Would you mind?
Yeah.
Liu?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so, before I go any further, as I was saying before, I would like to know so I can get some feedback from you guys as well, and build some confidence here, among us. What do you think would be, for example, a favorite quality or favorite, characteristic of a teacher that you've had in the past that you kind of liked about that teacher? If any of you would like to share at this moment. Any hands up? All right.
I like to say a little bit, I like the teacher who is fun and can give us a lot of interactive and pay attention to the details. That's really what I am looking for. Yeah, thank you, Daniel.
All right, so put a little bit of interaction in the classroom. Yeah, that's great. That's great, so that we can keep the conversation going and just make everything run smoothly. All right. So besides that, are there any, for example, new technologies that you're interested as of now in trying? And I mean things like very general, like for example, are you trying into, getting to more a little bit into computers or a little bit more into like cell phones, tablets? Any new technologies that you guys are very interested in at the moment? Or actually this, maybe any robots or robotics? I don't know if I have you guys on mute or I can unmute you guys here. David, do you know if we have them on mute?
You do not have to, but I will suggest you to try to chat with them as well. So sometimes they maybe feel a little bit unsure about the answer. So you can put in the chat, say, okay, I put the question in the chat box. If you know the answer, you can answer it.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. I will encourage.
I see the chat right now.
Yeah, couple of students like the Jonathan, Eric, and also Kevin. They are really bright. I teach them before, so I do believe Jonathan is very talky. I don't know why Jonathan is.
Yes, and you guys can You
have
guys
no
can
choice.
always, send me messages if you want, in the chat where everybody can see it, or you can send it directly to me. All right. So, I'm seeing something right now. I mean, it's good if you don't want to share it in the full chat, you can send it to me, and I'm looking at it. For example, I have an answer from Ellie. I won't say, what she said because maybe she doesn't want to say it. That's why she didn't send it to the full chat. But it's good to know, Ellie. Good to know that. All right. Anybody else that may want to share something, whether it's in the chat or, just say it out loud?
Or maybe you want to ask them to introduce themselves a little bit to start. This is the first class.
Yes, I think that's what we'll do because it seems like, they are not really talkative today. Well, I get it. It's the first class, so we're still, trying to get to know each other. So I guess we'll go one by one. So we got from the top where I'm looking at right now. Let's see. I have you, David, which, we already know each other. And then I have Eric. Eric, would you mind, just unmuting yourself, just letting us know, what are you interested in, and, what's your interested in, I'm sorry, what is your interest in taking this class? How come you ended up here? Eric, are you there? Eric Liu? Okay, so Eric actually responded through the chat to everyone. So he wants to become better at programming. And he also mentions that, he was forced as well by his mom. So, I would tell you that sometimes parents do want us to learn as much as we can. But in the process, many times we end up liking what, they wanted to teach us at first. So let's just see how it goes. You'll probably, learn what you can do with programming, and you're going to see that it's a whole lot of things that you can do with programming. And you may even use it for, if you have any other interests or hobbies, you may even use it, for that matter, because it applies everywhere pretty much. All right. And happy birthday, Eric. I see that you said it's your birthday. So everyone, please just say happy birthday to Eric. His birthday. I hope you had a wonderful day today. All right. So now let's keep going. Now let's see. We have Kevin Zhao. Is Kevin here? Do you want to speak, Kevin? Unmute yourself, or do you wanna just send a message through the chat? Do you want to tell us what is your interest in? Are you interested in computers? How did you end up in this class? All right, let's see. We're waiting for Kevin. All right, so Kevin is telling us that he also wants to become better at programming. All right, that's good. That's a good way to start. You're looking for the tools, or you're looking for someone to teach you the tools to become a better programmer. And that's great. Even the greatest programmers at some point had to ask somebody else to teach them a little bit. All right. So let's go to, we have Andrew here. Andrew, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself? Or do you want to talk through the chat? I'm sorry, right to the chat. All right, Andrew, hello. Yeah, I see you saying hello through the chat. How are you doing? All right, so would you mind telling us what's your interest in this class? Are you interested, in being able to program this, robot that we have in here? Because you like electronics, or are you most interested in learning, programming itself as a whole? Okay, so you want to learn mBlock to be better at coding, and that's great. mBlock itself, as we're going to go through the presentation real quick later on, you'll see that it's based off of Scratch. which was created by MIT, or at the Institute of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Yeah,
So,
I also do Scratch.
okay, that's great. And you're gonna find a lot of similarities then when it comes to mBlock and Scratch, because it's based off of Scratch, I think version 3. So you're gonna find a lot of similarities to that. All right. And you'll definitely become better. And now, it's even better that before, I did teach a Scratch course before, but we didn't use any robots or anything like that. So we couldn't try our code on something that actually moved on our table or something like that. We just had to try it on sprites, which are just, having some figures, let's say a bear or a dog, any kind of figure on the screen. And we would try to have, these sprite to do all the movements and all the things that we wanted it to do. Now we have this, which is going to be way better because we're going to be able to program, and then we'll see everything that we're trying to program happening with this, with the robot, okay? With the mBot. Okay, so let's go on to, we have Jonathan. Jonathan, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself? Jonathan? I don't know if Jonathan is hearing us right now. I think he is. He did write something. So let's wait for him and just give it a little bit of time. How you doing, Jonathan? Hi, he's telling us hi through the chat. All right. All right. So he's a little busy right now, but I'm sure he will let us know. We can go back to him later on. He will let us know, why he's taking this class and why he's looking to get out of this class. All right. So let's just go on to Annie. Annie, are you there? Do you want to unmute yourself? Okay, Annie. So you want to become better at programming, and your friend made you come. Well, that's good. That's good. You're sharing something that's very good with your friend. It's good to have fun and play games and all that. But this, you're gonna find that it's gonna seem like a learning process at the beginning, but then when you see how the kind of things that you can do with what you're learning, you will see that it becomes more like a game. It's gonna like kind of free up your mind, and it's based on your creativity. You're gonna be able to do a lot of things with this. Okay. So now we have Valentina. Valentina, do you want to speak up, or do you want to write to the chat? Let's just give her a minute. Let's see if Valentina is here. All right, there she is. So yes, Valentina, she is here, and she wants to become better at programming as well. Okay, so I see what you guys are going for. Seems everyone wants to really learn how to program. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this class. We're going to learn the basic concepts of programming, and you're going to see it happening with the mBot. And then you will be able to apply this later on, in your future careers, depending on what you want to do, but right now programming is pretty much everywhere. So I can assure you that you will find a use for it. Okay. Okay, and let's see what else we have here. And we have Ellie. Ellie, would you mind letting us know? Okay, Ellie is saying that she's here, and she learned how to use the Halo code hardware. That's actually some of the hardware that we also have, but we won't be using it in this class, but that's good. So you have some background in programming. That's great. All right, and you know how to code with Python. Well, you're a little bit more advanced, I will tell you that. And that's that's good. You'll be helping us out, through the programs that we create for this mBot as well, in this case. All right. And Jonathan, we were waiting for him, and he actually just answered to us. So . 'Cause, 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 ' Okay, so Jonathan is feeling a little sick as of now, and I hope you feel better, Jonathan. And yeah, I know there's a competition, and that's actually something that we're going to go through as well in this presentation. There's a competition, and you guys will be preparing for that. We're going to teach you the basic tools that you will need, and then it's all about your creativity and your way of solving problems. And I'm saying the way of solving problems because, as you know, sometimes there's a problem needs to be solved. There's not a single way of solving that problem. Sometimes different people can still solve the problem, but in different ways. Okay. So that's great. So you are here for the MakeX competition, and you will be learning all the tools that you need so that you can manage to, use this robot and do the things that you need to do to accomplish the tasks that you need to accomplish, and make sure that you bring that medal back to your, to your home. All right, so let's go back to the presentation at this point, and it's good to know a little bit about all of you guys. So let's just go back to the presentation here. And let me see if I can make this bigger. Sorry. Okay, got it. Okay, so here's our course, how we're going to be starting today. So, all right, we have here that we will be starting, to prepare for the competition. That's the main purpose of this class. And before I go any further than that, actually, let me just explain to you what the competition is. And rather than explain, let me show you something that David showed to me. And it's very, it's like a broad idea of what the competition is about. It's just a short video clip, and it's just going to give us a better idea of what we are actually preparing for. All right. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just open that file. All right. And let me share that screen with you. Okay, so now we're looking at this video, right? Are you looking at the video right now? I haven't pressed play yet, but there should be. Okay. Guys, I'm sorry, before I go any further, I'm sorry I interrupted the video, but I just want to make sure that everybody is watching the video. There's no sound from your sharing. Okay, I see there's no sound right now, so let me just see if I can do something about that. Just give me 1 minute. Once again, I'll put share. Okay, I see, I got to click on share sound. All right. Share sound and optimize for video clips. All right. So let's see how it goes now. David, I would appreciate it if you could just give me some feedback as soon as I hit this play once again. So just to see that, the sound is coming through and they can see the video.
Welcome to the 2020 MakeX Robotics Competition. MakeX Starter Smart Links. The competition requires cooperation between the red and blue alliance teams. The Smart Links arena is 2,440 millimeters by 2,440 millimeters, and each arena is divided into an automatic area and a manual area. There are 2 red and blue starting areas respectively. Robots need to start from their own starting areas. Smart Links consists of 5 independent missions and 5 alliance missions. In each competition, the MakeX Robotics Competition Committee will distribute 3 independent missions and 3 alliance missions. Alliance teams will be assigned the same automatic independent missions. Each game lasts 4 minutes and consists of an automatic stage and a manual stage. The alliance teams will determine the duration of each stage. There is an additional 30-second preparation between the 2 stages. When the automatic stage begins, robots can score in the following ways. 1. Push down the dual cube on the arena. 2. Pass by the obstacle area and make sure the obstacles stay in the initial ring at the end of the automatic stage. 3. Move the balls to the arena. The blue balls represent the blue automatic independent mission score. The red balls represent the red automatic independent mission score. The green and yellow balls represent the automatic alliance mission score. The automatic stage is followed by a 30-second preparation stage. After that, the manual stage begins. During this stage, both teams must control their robots manually to collect balls into the container in the middle of the arena. For each game, the alliance with the higher score will get a higher ranking point in the competition. Welcome to the 2020 MakeX Starter Smart Links.
All right, guys. Although it says the 2020, well, because what happened with COVID and, things didn't go as usual, things changed a little bit, but we will be talking about the 2021 competition. That's really what it will be. All right. Okay, so let me go back to sharing my PowerPoint screen. Wait, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so now that you're looking at my screen right now, so we are going to work, as I said before, with this mBot, and we will be preparing this mBot depending on the kind of challenges that we need to do. You could think about the kind of robot that you need to build, because you could put like extensions per se. For example, here they're gonna act like like little hands per se for this, so that it can grab stuff or maybe like push forward and stuff like that. So there are other things that we will be able to add to this mBot. All right. So now, as far as completing the assembly, we are not really going through the whole process of completing the assembly today, but I will share with you, I have another, I did make a copy of the manual that comes with it, and I'm pretty sure you guys actually have it as well, but I will upload those contents so that you know how to put it together, because it comes into different pieces and we have to just assemble it little by little. All right. Okay, but in this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to learn about the different features, the different operations that we can do with the with this mBot right now. Okay, and we're going to try to see if we can put a program at the end so that you can run it at least and see, how we can put a program on this. Okay. Kevin, for example, saying that he had already assembled the robot. Eric as well. So that's good. That's good that you guys were able to do this ahead of time. Okay. So let's go through some of the features and basic operations. And now let's talk about the mBlock 5. This is the mBot, what we have, what we were talking about, the robot itself. And now when we talk about mBlock, mBlock is actually the software that we use where we create our programs. And as soon as we're done with our programs, we will put our programs, as I said before, we load it into the mBot, and then we are able to run those programs. all right, because they are already loaded into the memory of the mBot, and it will be able to just run those programs that we already did in mBlock. So right now the version of mBlock that we are using is mBlock 5. Okay, let's just see what else we have here. So as this PowerPoint presentation is telling us here that mBlock is a programming tool used for STEM education. STEM education, what it stands for is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Because as you may realize, just working with the robot itself wouldn't you know would fall within those categories. Okay, or a little knowing a little bit of math, a little bit of technology, science. So that's why this is a field that falls within the STEM education. And remember that we said that mBlock is going to be very similar to Scratch. And we can see here in this PowerPoint presentation that they do say here that it was inspired actually by Scratch 3. That's why it looks so similar to that. Okay, and we will see that similarity in just 1 minute. Okay, so we're going to be able to create different stories, games, animations, if we were using, for example, sprites on the screen. But at the same time, we could also create different actions per se, or different programs that could transfer into actions for the mBot. Okay, if we can create a program and then load that program to the robot and then have it, do those things, especially for our missions that we will need to perform for the MakeX competition. All right. So let's see what else we have here. So we would need to first download and install mBlock. And here, this is giving us the web page where we're going to be able to go and download the software. I don't know if any of you guys have done it already. Does anyone want to answer, whether it's through the mic or in the chat? Have you guys downloaded the software ahead of time? Okay, so Andrew says he's going to install it. Okay, Kevin also needs to install it as well. Okay, so since there are some people that still need to install it, let's go ahead and let me show you. Let's go to the website actually, and then let me show you how we're going to do this. All right, just give me 1 minute. I'm going to change the screen that I'm sharing. Okay, I'm going to click on new share. Let me just share my whole desktop so you can see it. Okay, so now you should be able to see my whole desktop. And let me go here to Google Chrome. Actually, before I even go to Google Chrome, let's go to the PowerPoint presentation again. Let me just copy this. I'm going to copy this link. And let's see how that web page looks like. All right. So as soon as we put that, link in here, and I will put the link in the chat. Actually, Kevin already did. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you for that. And as I said before, here's what the web page would look like. And it depends, on what you're using mBlock as well. Because if you can see here, for example, you have a web version, which would mean that you could, let's say, run it on a computer. If you had, for example, Google Chrome installed in your computer, which is the thing that, most of us probably have. Otherwise, just you could download Chrome because I think it's most compatible with it. And then you could choose, how you want to program as well. Code with blocks or code with Python. As some people in the chat also said that they've coded with Python already. So you can also do that. Okay, but this is web version. You don't need to download anything. Let's see, for example, what will happen if I just click here. I'm going to click on open link in new tabs just so I don't close this web page. And let's see what happens. See, as soon as I click there, here it is already. It's just loading, but here it is already. See? And then I can create an account if I wanted to use the online version. So if I want to use the online version, I can click here. And then I would just need to sign up. Okay. It's going to ask you to be 16 years old or above. So and use an email address. So in this case, it would be, it would be free. I'm sorry. You would have to ask your parents if they can help you out with an email so that you can sign up. You'll probably create a password and all that. And as soon as you do that, you'll be able to save your programs. So once you save when you have an account, you will be able to save programs that you create, and then just come back to them, do any changes if you want in the future. You could also share those programs uh, with the community. There's like a whole community, like an mBlock community, where you can share and people can just see what other people have created, just work with that. And even if you find something that somebody else has created and you find it useful for your program, sometimes you can take some of that stuff or take at least the main idea of how they did it and then you just do your own stuff. Okay. So that's one of the things that we can do. Here we can just already work with this. But let's go back to, okay, so this is the online version, which looks very similar to what it's going to look on the PC once you download it as well. Okay, so let me just close this for now. All right, so I'm leaving these sites. And here are the PC versions. Okay, so you have this for Windows and you have it for Mac as well. So depending on which kind of computer you're using, you would choose, either is Windows or Mac. Okay. I think it's most compatible with what it says down here, those systems. So you got to check that your operating system is more than that. But I'm pretty sure like if you're using one of the latest computers, even if it's just a couple years old, you will probably have no problems with this. You will be able to install it and then just run it. I had already downloaded for Mac because I'm using a Mac, and I will show you. I will be opening up. Here it is, mBlock. I will be opening this up in just 1 minute, and you will see how it looks. It's going to be very similar to what we saw online. Okay. We also have this mBlock mobile app, which would mean that this is going to work in phones and tablets, in cell phones or smartphones and tablets. Mainly today, what we have running on these kind of devices are different operating systems. Just like in PCs, we have Windows and then Mac and then iOS for Mac. When it comes to the mobile applications, I'm sorry, the mobile devices like phones and tablets, the main systems being used are these operating systems: Android, and iOS, which are pretty much all the Apple devices, using iOS. Okay, so depending on the kind of device, let's say it was like an Apple tablet, you would choose the iOS. If it was a Samsung, like let's say tablet, which runs Android, you would use this other one here. Okay. Annie, let me just check real quick on the chat because there's some questions here. Oh, Kevin is asking if he could use an iPad during the competition or must it be a laptop? That, to be honest, I don't know. Are you still with us right now, David? Let me see. I think David is left us. Give me 1 minute. David, are you there? Okay, I guess David is not here with us for a minute. But that's something that I would have to ask David. I'm not entirely sure as far as the rules for the kind of device that you can use. So I will get back to you, Kevin, as soon as I find that out. Okay. Let me just copy and paste your question real quick because I want to make sure I get to it. Okay. Oops, I'm sorry. I didn't copy that. Copy and I'll paste it. Yes, because I want to make sure I get to that. Okay, and as far as using a monitor, you definitely can use a monitor, but the monitor itself, that's not going to run the program. It's just for you to see maybe on a bigger screen, so that you can, see all the blocks and everything, and have like a little bit more space, let's say, on the screen, so that you can, put longer programs in it and be able to see most of it. Okay, so that's something that could be helpful if you wanted to use that. Okay. Ellie, do you have a question? I think you told us to wait a minute. Uh, no, I mean, I don't know if you're talking about something else, but if you're talking about a monitor, like, I don't know, let me see if I can see. Wait, just give me 1 minute. I'm just sharing my screen right now, right? Are you guys able to see me as well? Like, see my face in front of the computer? Are you guys able to see me?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. So that being the case, if you're talking about something like this, I don't know if you can see that monitor right here. Can you see this?
Right now, I'm using like a bigger screen to connect to my computer screen, which my computer screen is smashed right now.
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. The only thing that I was going to say about that is that the screen is just helping you to, to visualize the content, but really where the programs are running in this case, or where you're actually programming, it's your laptop, which I know the screen is not working. So this is only serving you, let's say, as a slave, just a way where you can project things, but it's not really doing like any processing or anything. That's what's doing. Your laptop is the one that's doing that.
So can we use like an iPad like this for the contest instead of a laptop? I
As
don't mean
far
like a laptop. I mean like an actual laptop that's like flat and then goes up like that that you can carry around. Can we use like iPad?
I know that you could use the mBlock on iPad because it says here already that there is a version for tablets. I
Yeah.
know that
Or
you
like
can definitely
during
you can
contest,
you
would that be allowed?
I know that you can use it for programming, but as far as the competition, I don't know if they require a special type of device, whether it's a computer, whether it's a tablet. So that we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out with David. I mean, I was talking to David before, but I think he's not here right now. So as soon as I get to find that out, I will get back to you. All right, Kevin?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so let's go back. So now that we're looking at this website, we already know that we have different options, right? To download the software. It could either be, on different tablets, could be at different computers, whether it's Windows, whether it's Mac, or even on the web, as we saw it before. We just click on where it says, for example, code with blocks, and we will open a new window where it's gonna have pretty much gonna look the same as the software that we downloaded. And now let me go back to the software that I actually downloaded. Can you see it here on the left side of my screen? You see it's the same icon as what we have here. Actually, guys, can you see my pointer moving around on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so now where I'm looking, what I'm pointing at right now, that's the software that I downloaded, the mBlock, but that's the Mac version. So that will be this one, right? I'm sorry, let me just get this out of the way. So that would have been this one right here. Okay, so I just downloaded for Mac, and let's click on here. And look, this is already, well, this is something that I was doing already, just trying this out and, see how the mBot would behave. But this is how it would look like. So it looks very similar to what we saw online. So you probably, this doesn't look similar, the stuff on the right. But don't worry about it. We won't be writing code like this. But now that we have it on the screen, it's good for me to show you, how this is going to work. Let me see. Okay, now that we have this on the screen, for example, this program that I'm running that I was running actually on the mBot right here. This program, if you were to write it in like a different programming language, in this case we're using Arduino C, as you can see it right here. That's the name of the language that we're using. If we were to use it in this language, this what you look at on the right side is doing the same thing that what it's doing than what these blocks are doing on the left side. Okay, but for us, we're just going to learn, the main logic of how to program. So we will be able to determine and see the logic on what is happening here on the left side. Okay. And we wouldn't need to go through all this. You will learn it later on if you know became a programmer, a computer scientist, or something, and you want to learn more in depth. Then you would get to that. But at least you will be getting the main concepts out of this right here on the left side. Okay. For example, just to show you something real quick. Right here, you can see that I'm saying repeat 3 times, and I'm repeating everything that's inside this block. I'm repeating 3 times, correct? If I was to look for this repeat 3 times on here, you could see it, for example, right here. It's in a loop. It's in a for loop. It says repeat. This for is just saying that it's going to repeat 4. Is doing 3 times right there. That's the counter. And it's in this plus plus just means that it's incrementing every time. So it counts from 0, then it counts the next one, then the next one until it gets to less than 3, which will be 3 because it will start counting at 0. So it will be 0, 1, 2, and it would stop there because 2 is less than 3, but then 3 is not less than 3. So it would stop there. But just so you know, I'm not going to go much into detail when it comes to this code, but just so you can see, this repeat 3 times would translate to something like this line, you see, when it comes to code. Okay. So, but at least you get the main idea of, you know, what is happening there. Okay. So now let me just go back to our presentation and let's keep going. So now that we know how to, you know, get mBlock 5, whether it's on the web, on our, you know, on our PCs or on a device like a tablet, let's keep going. And we were just looking at the screen, see? We were just looking at this kind of screen. So let's just describe real quick what this screen is just going to show us, okay? So we have a tab section, which is going to be like a menu. And let me go back to this. You're looking at the mBlock screen right now, correct? Because I'm sharing the whole desktop. So here it is on top. That'll be the menu right there. And we have like 31 messages in the chat. Let me see if I missed something, just real quick. Okay, so yeah, I see Kevin is saying it's entirely Scratch now, and you're correct for that. It looks very similar to Scratch, very, very similar to it. All right.
Should like the entire code be exactly Scratch?
Excuse me?
Should the entire thing be Scratch? Like everything on top there. When I first got it, like the everything above. Mama, no, Nilissa. Should the like stuff above events also be Scratch? Because when I see like yours, like a lot of the time it has different ones. Like on the top earlier, it will have different stuff, not sound, looks, motion. Or you had like some sort of other stuff like land sensor. So I'm just acting like sometimes does it just change randomly, or did I do something to? Oh, wait,
It's
no,
gonna,
I found it's in Spice and Devices.
yeah, it's gonna look very similar to Scratch. It's not exactly the same, and this is because I changed the screen how it looks like. Look,
Oh
as
wait,
soon as I change this, can you see what I'm clicking at right now?
yeah.
So as soon as I change that, see, it puts, for example, a grid. If I want it in there, I can take the grid off. I can change the way it looks, you know, what's showing me.
No, I mean like I was in Devices earlier, and then I just accidentally switched to Spice.
Yes. So this is what it would look more like in Scratch. It would look more like this, right? You have your screen here. You would have the different sprites. Okay, so it's a similar concept. You're gonna find a couple of differences, but it's a very similar concept. So here on top, we have our menu section, where we're gonna find things like, for example, how to open our programs that we had already saved, or how to save a program that we just created, for example. So you could click, for example, here on File. You could create a new program and then, you know, give it a name and save it. The name would go up here where it says, for example, Demo1. That's where you'll put the name. You could also open a file as well, if it's an mBlock file. You can also save it. where it says save as soon as you click that, it will tell you, how you want to name it and where you want to save it. So you can save that. And let's say you already had something in your computer. You can also click on here where it says open from your computer. It will tell you, where is the file located. Well, right now it's telling me that the file has been modified and saved it because I had another file open. So let me see. Well, let me just click cancel for a minute. And where is my code? I think I erased my code anyways. Oh no, I think it's because I took it out of here. There it is. It's because I went into sprites rather than devices because I had some code for the device, but I had no code for the sprite. See? As soon as I click on a sprite, I don't have any code here, but I did have some code for the device for the mBot. That's why it's showing right here. Okay. So you can, open from your computer. It's gonna ask where the file is. So you're just gonna look through the names of the files that you have or the different folders that you have and see, where you put it, and then you can open it from there. You can also save to the computer, and then as soon as you click there, you can just put a name and see where you want to save it, and you can share it as well. Okay. As soon as you click share to, let's see, because I didn't even click on this. Well, you have to log in if you want to share. So if you want to share something, you do need to have a MakeBlock account online, okay, so that you can share with the community for mBlock, for mBlock, I'm sorry, okay? All right, let me see what else we have here. I want to see, I just want to move the bar that I have for Zoom, which is not letting me set this. All right, let's go back to our presentation real quick. Oops, I'm sorry, I clicked on the wrong one. Okay, so we have the menu section on top. We have the blocks area, which is we're going to have, we are going to have all the different kind of blocks on all the different categories of blocks, okay? All right, so as it says here on the right, you can find the different blocks and the different categories by color as well. So that's helpful because once you're doing something, sometimes at the beginning you will kind of get confused where things are, but later on, the more you do it, you like when you need something, let's say it was like something to control the flow of how things happening, you would already know, okay, that's got to be, some kind of orange block or something like that, because you just get so used to that. So then you go and look into that, and then you'll find it quicker. Okay, so you have the blocks area. Let me see if I can make this in presentation mode. Okay, that's better. Okay, so you have that blocks area. You have the script area, which is the place where we can put the different the different blocks so that we can create scripts or code. And then as soon as we have some code, we can load that, whether it's to a sprite or in this case to the mBot, which is a device. Okay, and here in the stage area is where we have on top, we have the sprite, in this case, if it was a panda. But if we were using the mBot, we would just go down here where it says devices, as I had it before. And that's where you will see your mBot. Okay, so in this case, on the left side, oops, I'm in full screen, so it's not letting me go there. Let's see. So see, in this case, on the left side, if I click on devices, that's where I have the mBot. If I was on a sprites, I'll be using this. Okay, so let's go back to this. Let's go on to the next one. And as I was saying before, this is called graphical programming because it helps us to code instead of what I showed you before, where we had a lot of lines of code, just text with no color, no nothing, and it would look like kind of boring, to be honest. Even though when you actually understand it, you're gonna see that it's very interesting. But at the beginning, it's gonna look like something completely out of this world, like a different language that you don't understand. But that's why we start like this. You're gonna learn in a graphical form first, with different colors, with different shapes of the blocks, which are gonna tell you, what the block is used for and stuff like that. Okay, and we're just gonna drag the blocks that we need from the block area up to the stage, and that's where we create our programs. Okay, let's see what else we have here. As we were saying before, we have different colors and different shapes. And the shapes, as you can notice, some shapes can be connected with others, some cannot be connected with others. And that's just because the way they work and how the whole flow of the program would go. So if you can look at the shape of the yellow one right here on top, you can see it has this tab right there at the bottom. And this other one, the purple one on the bottom, has this notch where that tab would fit in. So these kind of blocks definitely go together. You see, it's like a puzzle.
It's
Okay,
like
so
scratch.
just like Scratch. All right. Okay, and once we have the blocks, we can also click on the blocks and see what's happening and how is that affecting our, our, in this case, depends on what we're using. If we're using, for example, a sprite, and let's say we wanted it to say hello, we would take a block that would help us do that. And as soon as we click on that and run the program, it will show something like this, like the sprite, and something coming up right there, like he's saying hello, because we were using a sprite and we were working on a sprite. We can also work on the mBot as well, as you can see right here. So we can also create some programs that are going to load it onto the mBot rather than on a sprite. And then we would see that behavior of the program that we're trying to do reflected on the robot itself. Okay. And he's saying that the panda is looking better than the scratch cat. Yeah, it actually is just cute. It's a cute panda. Okay. And as far as adding the hardware device, which I already did for the mBot, how would you do that? Let me just go back real quick. Okay, actually, let's go through the presentation. It's going to be a little bit better. Instead of me opening on the side, the mBlock program is going to be better here because you will be able to see, screen by screen what's happening. So as far as adding, you would go, if you are on sprites, you got to switch to the tab where it says devices. As soon as you click on devices, you will just click the plus sign right there where you're going to add something. Okay, you want to add a new device. In this case, you want to add the mBot. All right. So right here, once you click on that, it's going to show you all different kind of devices that you can add. In this case, we're looking for the mBot, correct? So you select the mBot, and as soon as you have that, so as soon as you select the mBot, you will click on confirm. Okay, because that's the device that you want to add. You will go back, then it will take you back to this main page, where you were before, and it's going to show the mBot already here. Let's see. So you click the plus sign, then you chose the mBot, and then it puts it right here. So you already added that different device. Yeah. Now, as far as connecting the mBot and making sure that it's communicating with your computer, what we're going to do is once you have that device right here, showing in under devices, then you're going to plug the USB cable. If you can look at me on the, where I'm showing through the camera, you're going to plug one end of the cable to the side where the USB port is for the mBot. So one end of that cable there, and the other end, you probably can see it from the camera right now, but the other end will just go to the computer. Okay. So it's connected, and as soon as you connect that, you're gonna see. I don't know if you can see it through the camera right now, but can you see a green light? Can you see a green light like right around there?
I can see it.
Okay. All right. So that green light is telling us that this is.
Do you have to connect the robot with the device?
I'm sorry. What did you say? If we need to connect, what was that? Can you please repeat what you said? You said if we need to connect. I think you said the wall plug.
You have to put the mBot into the You have to like mBot a wire with the desktop.
In this case, when we want to load programs, that's why we need to connect it so that we can like transfer the program from the computer. It comes through the cable and we can put it in here. Okay. Then once we already have the program in here, then we can disconnect it and that program will be saved in the memory. And then we could, for example, use this button to click and run the program. Okay. And as far as the way I'm running it right now, it's just have the batteries on it. It's already connected, and we have the green light, as I said before, that is showing us that it's connected with the USB cable. Let me just disconnect it, and it should turn off. See? So there's no green light anymore. So as soon as you connect it, it turns on that green light, and that is in the off position. So right now this is off. As soon as I turn this on, it's just gonna give us more lights. Okay, we'll see. See? See? Then it turns the blue light, the red light. Let me just do that once again. So that's off, but it's already connected through the USB. And as soon as I turn it on, see, it gives us a little hint that it's already on.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Wait, can you still code without the USB when you're coding on your computer?
How the code looks in the computer?
No, can you still code without the USB plugged into your computer?
Yes, you can definitely code without the USB plugged in. As soon as you're done with your code, you don't have to actually plug it in at all if you're just coding and creating the program. But as soon as you want to try it out and see if it actually does what you think it does, then you would connect it. You can load the program or upload the program to the mBot, and then once it's loaded already, you can disconnect it, and then you can, for example, click the button if that's the some of the things that you put in the code. For example, when I click the button, start the program. So now you put it on the side, you click the button, and you should be able to see your program running. Okay, so it doesn't have to be connected all the time. You can be creating your programs without connecting the mBot, and as soon as you're done, you can upload it and then see if it does what you want it to do. But it's good practice sometimes to just have it connected, because you can keep trying things as you keep doing them. So it's good to have it connected like that, so that you can, like, as soon as you're making changes, you keep uploading and you keep running and you keep uploading and keep running, and you can see the kind of changes that you are creating every time you do something in the code. Okay, but it is possible, as you said before, to create without having connected. Okay, let's go and let's see what else we have here. Oh, it depends. Sometimes I think for most mBots, it will ask you for this. I don't know if some of them should be updated or not, but I think most of them will ask you to upgrade the firmware. So that'll show in the screen. Actually, it showed for me. I don't have it anymore right now, but it showed for me right here, just in yellow. It said like firmware update. I just clicked on there, and it already showed me that there was a firmware update. I would just click continue, and it was just like a loading bar, and as soon as it finished, it was like up to date per se. Okay, so now let's just go here. Okay, so once you connect with the USB, it's going to ask you here to connect the device, and this I'm actually going to show you doing it myself right now here, but I just want to show you how it's going to look like. Okay, so you're going to click on connect right here to connect the device, in this case the mBot. Right here they are selecting the Kodi, but we are using the mBot. You're going to click connect. You're going to show you something like this. It may not be exactly the same as what it says he's COM4. It may be something different, but you're going to click create that connection, and then it's just going to give you a message that says the connection was successful. Okay, and I will show you that in just a minute. Okay, for example, for the firmware, you can see something like this would happen. It would just be a loading bar. It tells you not to disconnect and this is very important actually. Once you're doing a firmware update, do not disconnect. While that's happening, do not disconnect the mBot or turn it off, because it's like you're making changes to the software that's in here inside the mBot, and all of a sudden you take it out. It's like you already erased some of the stuff, but you didn't finish the whole installation process of the new stuff that you wanted to put in. So sometimes it might just render the robot itself useless after that, if if that happens. So we recommend, please do not unplug it or turn it off while a firmware update is happening. So just let it happen, and then once it's done, it's going to show us this message here. So the firmware update is finished and you can use the device. Okay. These are just different ways to connect, whether it's via dongle or a Bluetooth. In this case, we are not using any of that. We're just using the cable, the USB cable. Okay, so it's just asking us here which connection is right, but we're using, the cable in this case. And now we got to that part that everybody was talking about at the beginning, because we were, when I asked, everybody said we want to get better at programming. So now we're getting to that part when it comes to programming. Okay, so we're going to try to create a first program, and you will see. For example, look at this right here, our first program. What do you think this will do? Just looking at this, don't even look at, any of that, or like any of those letters here, no paragraphs. Just look at the blocks right here. What do you think would happen there? Okay, I have two hands up. I have Kevin or Andrew. Kevin, do you wanna share with us what do you think would happen with this?
So when the up arrow is pressed, will move forward at like as fast as he can.
Okay, yeah, and that is correct. That's exactly what it's telling us. This
If
is
you put it off the up arrow key, he'll stop moving.
um yes, it will stop when it is released. Because it's saying while it's pressed. Okay. Oh, actually, wait up. No, actually, this should be in a while loop because if we wanted it to keep, moving, we would have while it is pressed, then we would keep on moving, and as soon as we release, it would just stop. Okay, but in this case, it just gives us an idea of, having an event here. In this case, pressing a key and having the robot do something. In this case, moving forward at, at full power, at 100%. Okay, and we're gonna see something here real quick. We will create a program and you will see this. Okay, so if we were able to do this, for example, to control the movement of it going forward, do you think that we could control the movement or using the other keys, like for example, left, right, down, using something similar? I have Kevin, and let's see who else raised their hand. Ellie, let's ask Ellie. Ellie, do you think we can, be able to move it different sides using all four arrow keys?
I think we can because like the other one, it says like if you click like the arrow like the arrow key that goes front, there's probably other blocks that says like if you click if the arrow key goes whatever direction.
Okay. Yeah, and actually, let me show you real quick what we have here. See, this, for example, this is the new program that we were creating. We wanted to use all four keys to do different things. For example, we're using the up arrow for it to move forward at 100% of its speed. Then we use the down arrow to move backward, at 100% as well. Then the left one to turn left, and the right one to turn right. So see, just by doing this, having all these different events happening, all these different four events happening at the same time, it just depends on what we're pressing at the moment that we're running the program, and we will see different things happening, whether it's going forward, backward, left, or right. Okay, so thank you, Annie. That was great, and yes, we are able to do this. So now we could think about different activities. We won't be doing these activities right now, but you can think if you're trying to be creative and do different things with movement, you could think about things like this, for example, preparing a soccer field using any material that you could find in the classroom, or in this case at your home, whether it be, a large piece of cardboard or like, a large piece of wood, like a flat, piece of wood where you can, draw your own soccer field or something or football field, and then you can have the mBot, for example, moving in different directions, be able to control it in case that you had, let me see where I have this. I'll show you. I don't know if some of you have this as well. Do any of you have this? Can you see it? Can you guys see the control?
I think I
Okay,
have
so I
it.
see.
I have it.
Okay,
My
so
partner
Ellie, I
has it
think you
actually.
do. Annie, Eric, yes. So some of you guys have it. I hope everyone would have it. But this, as you know, this is just a controller. It's a Bluetooth controller, which just means that it connects to the mBot
I
through
don't
Bluetooth.
actually have that controller.
Okay, it looks a little bit different, but it still controls the mBot.
I just have like one of those TV controllers.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I did have, you have one of this probably, something similar to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this could also be used for that. You know, we have an up, down, left, right. So it could also be used for that. Okay. But this is gonna make things easier. In this case, well, I was given this by David, and we can see, for example, we have different numbers. So let's think about our program that we were just talking about before. We were talking about before, like for example, this one. If I was using the controller, I probably wouldn't have this, you know, when up arrow or down arrow. I mean, I could have if I was used to this, right? Up, down, or left, right, you know, depending on which way you're looking at it. But I could also use, for example, the numbers. I could, instead of having up or down, I could have like, if number one, then do this. If number two, do this. If number three, do that. So I can assign different functions to different parts of the controller in this case. Oh,
Where
and
do we get the handle?
this is the this controller here. This Bluetooth controller is part of the competition kits. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
All right. All right. So let's see. So as we were saying before, you know, we could have different activities. You know, this is all based on creativity. Whatever you want to do with it, once you know how to move the mBot. For example, create a soccer field. You know, just control your mBot with the different, you know, arrows, whether it's up, down, left, or right. You know, just try to get the ball and just move it to the you know, next to the goalie or something like that. Okay. Uh, for example, we have another one here. You see, sumo. In this case, we have all these different bots coming all together to this ball and then pushing it as much as they can and seeing, you know, which way it's gonna move after all. You know, who's the winner. Um, so that could be another option. You know, we won't be doing this. Is, you know, I don't even have as many mbots that we have here, but it could be another thing. It just depends on creativity and how you want to play with it. Okay. And here, for example, it's just an mbot that's going through like sort of a labyrinth or a maze, and it's just, you know, getting through all these different obstacles and stuff. Okay. So once you know how to control it, how to program it so that you can control movement through this, you'll be able to move it manually, you know, going back, forward. I mean, yeah, going forward, going backwards, left or right. All right. Okay, and that should be it as far as, well, we'll get back to this number 5, which is, you know, just some reflections that we'll get in our class today. But before we do that, let me show you, you know, I wanted to show you a program before we go. So for example, oh, and I will share with you, uh, you know, maybe a screenshot of this so that you can, you know, try it yourself on your own mBot. So I will share a screenshot in our classroom, in our Google Classroom. But for example, look at this program that we have here. Can anybody guess what this will do before I even turn on the mBot? Or can you give me an idea, even if it's not entirely correct, but just based on the code and what you're looking at, can you guys kind of tell what it could do? Oh, and there are actually some links that David just shared with me, and I will share it with you guys so that you can watch. Actually, we will watch it at the end, right before we go. We will watch this, okay? But for now, let's just focus on this one first. So anyone, Kevin, maybe Ellie, or anyone else in the classroom, just by looking at this code, do you guys?
So is there any like coding samples to get us started? Or something
Excuse
like,
me?
I don't know, the logs show like some of them, like some of them aren't featured in Scratch, or like I don't know how they work. So are there like any samples to get us started?
Yes, we're gonna see some samples of the activities that we were talking about, the soccer game and the maze all being mBot and all that. But in this case, we're gonna load this program into this mBot, and I'm gonna show you through the camera what happens, and I will break down this code, and I will make sure that you understand what's happening here. But
And
some of you guys did have experience with Scratch, correct? All right. Is there anyone here that had experience with Scratch that wants to speak up? All right, maybe Kevin, did you have experience with Scratch before?
I just finished like a Scratch class a few weeks ago,
Okay.
like
So
maybe two
since
weeks.
all right, so since this looks very
Code,
similar,
code says something when on button pressed. So like, and when you press the on button on like the controller, it'll just light up with red 100, green 100, blue 0. And then I'll play some notes.
all right. Yes, all right. Let's go through the code. That's around around what's happening. So let's go through this code. I know some many of you guys have experience, most of you with Scratch. So let's go through this real quick. So what it's saying, this actually, let's just look at the kind of block that this is. You just look at the color and try to see where that is. That is an event block. It's right here under events. So what this will do is, something has to happen. That's an event. Something has to happen, as a trigger for something to start in this case, right? So in this case, we're making that trigger. Sometimes when we were working with the sprite, we would use something like this. When the green flag is clicked, remember we would do that in Scratch. So as soon as I click the green flag, it would start running the program. In this case, it's going to be a little bit different because I want to make sure that this runs on hardware or something that's physical, like this, like the mBot. So in this case, um, I want to start up the robot, so like turn it on, and it's just going to be turned on, and we're going to wait. Because see, right here we have this wait until. So we are just waiting. So first of all, this event is happening. So the mBot is being started, so it's going to start up. Then we're going to wait until we press the onboard button, and that's the onboard button is this one right here. See? So we're just going to wait until we press that. So if I just run the code up to these two first blocks, it's doing nothing really, because we are just turning it on and we are waiting for somebody to press this button right here, but nothing is happening yet. But then look at what we have inside these you know we would call this a buckle, or something that gets repeated. So in this case, in this repeat block right here, so 3 times this thing is going to repeat. And what is those things that are going to repeat 3 times? That is, the mBot is going to start turning right at a power of 32%. So it's not going to go full 100%, way too fast, but it's going just at 32%, but it's going to turn right. Then it's going to wait for 2 seconds. The light will be turning on, as it says right here. Color red will be at 100. Color green will be at 100. There will be no blue light. The blue light is not turning on because I have a 0 there. Okay. All right. And remember this, we will have to go through this, a little bit later on. But when it comes to this, we have this, pretty much every color is made by these 3 colors: red, green, and blue. So just depending on the intensity of each color, whether it's more red or less green or more blue, any mixture that we do, we are able to get pretty much all the colors. Okay. So this range would for the red, the green, and the blue, depending on what numbers we put in there, we're gonna see a different color, just showing up through the LEDs or the lights. Okay, and then we are playing a note, which in this case is a C4, one note, which will be, that's just musical theory right there. So it's a C4, and then we will play a note, which will be a D4, and we are playing that. Look, the first one for like 25, like every quarter of a beat, and the second one every quarter of a beat as well. Okay, and this once this repeat, this whole thing inside the repeat happens 3 times, then it's gonna stop moving. So let's see if we can do that. And I'm gonna show you right now as well how to put the program in this robot right here, the mBot. So let me just turn it off completely. Let me disconnect the cables. I'm disconnecting the cables so that you can see, from the beginning. Okay. Okay, so look at my screen right now. I'm sharing the mBlock screen. So this we already went through. So I would have already the mBot, installed here. Okay, I would have done the firmware update or whatever it is it needs to be done so that it can be, updated and it's running the latest software that there is for the mBot. Okay, and in this case, you can see I can click here. Here's the connect one. But if I didn't plug it in, I didn't use the USB cable or anything. Let's see what happens if I click on connect. See, it's telling me here that how I want to connect, whether it's USB, Bluetooth, or through Wi-Fi 2.4 or 3.4 gigahertz. I'm sorry, but it's but look, but there's nothing here. It doesn't let me choose what I want to connect or anything. That's because I don't have any cables or anything plugged into the computer. So let me close this down again. And now let me put the cable here. So as I was telling you before, one end will go here to the mBot, where we have the USB connection. Are you guys able to see through the camera right now? Okay. Let me see. Maybe you're writing in the chat and I'm not looking at the chat right now. Okay, so you are looking at it. Okay, so we have the USB connection there. So that's where we plug one end of the cable. This is the one that looks kind of square. Okay, so that will go here. And then we take the other end, which is the one that plugs into the computer, which is like a little bit like flatter or rectangular. So we take this end and it goes into the computer. Okay. As soon as we do that, we have that green light that I was telling you before. So it's showing us that it is connected to the computer, but the mBot is in the off position. Remember, when we put it on, then all the lights come up right here. And we do need to turn it on so that we can connect it, okay? So let's click on, let's move this switch so that we can turn it on and you'll see the lights going. See the lights go off like that. See? And there it is. It's just waiting for it to get any programs uploaded, so that it can run something. So now that we have here, I'll just put it on the side. It's just going to stay like this, but I'll put it on the side. Okay. Let me see if I can. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So now if I want to be able to put this program in here, so what I will do now that it's on, I turn it on, it's connected and everything, I could click here where it says connect. I will click there and look, before it wouldn't let me choose anything here. Now it disappears here because it's connected. So there's really nothing else I can choose. That's the only one because that's the only thing that I've connected here. So I'll just click there. It's the same thing. And I just click on connect. And see where it says connected here in green? Can you guys see where it says connected? Where I'm pointing at right now? Okay. So that's telling you that the device, in this case, the mBot is connected and is ready to, take on any programs. So now, since I already have this code here, let me just load that code onto the mBot so that it can run without having, without being connected or anything like that. So the way that I will do this is just look at the left side right here. So where we have these 4 buttons down here, we have this option that says upload. Oh, and also the mode switch, we need to be under upload, okay? Because the live is just going to show any changes that we do, on the screen. We are able to try them, like pretty much in real time in the robot. But in this case, we want to be able to unplug it so that it can do the movement that we need it to do. So I will put it on upload mode, and then I will click here where it says upload. And you're gonna see it's gonna come like a bar that's gonna load, and then it'll tell us that the program was actually uploaded. So let's click on upload. See? So it's at 0%. And look, it just keeps going, and it's just putting pretty much all the files, everything that needs for the program. It's putting everything onto the mBot. And see, it says upload progress complete, and then the code has been uploaded. So that means that the code is already here in the mBot. At that point, we could, for example, click here where it says disconnect. We could click there. Okay, so we've disconnected the mBot, so it's not connected to it is connected through the cable, but it's really not able to get any programs right now through the computer because we did not click on connect down here. See, we disconnected. So that now I can take this off. So the mBot is entirely free. And let's do this right now. Can you guys see the mBot right now? Can anybody please speak up and let me know?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it's on the right angle. Okay, so in this case, what we programmed is that it would need to turn, let me see, it would need to turn right at a power of 32, so it's not going full power, it's just going a bit slower. Every quarter note is giving these beeps, right, the beeping sound. It will do this 3 times, and then it should stop because we put at the end. You see, it's going to repeat 3 times. It's in the code. It's going to repeat 3 times, and then it's going to stop moving after that. Okay, so let's see what happens. So I'll just click here on the button, and let's see. Goes 1. There goes 1 beep. 2 beeps. 3 beeps. See? So it went 3 times, and it played the notes as well. Okay, were you guys able to see that? Do you want me to do it again? Okay, once again, look. See, did 3 turns, and we could adjust the speed if we wanted it to go faster, slower, and or also try to match up the quarter notes with the full turn. We could, for example, change the speed rather than being 32%, let's say like at 25% or something, so that it goes slower and it matches the beat every time it completes a full turn and stuff like that. That just depends on your creativity. All right. Now just give me 1 minute. I want to share something that David gave to us before. Let's just look at these videos in YouTube.
Want a lawn that looks like this, but your lawn looks a little bit more like this? Then you should click right here and check out True Green.
Are you guys able to see the YouTube video as of now? But I think I'm not sharing the audio. Just give me 1 minute. I will start sharing the audio. Oh, Eric, you can hear it? Really? I thought I wasn't sharing the audio. Okay, got it. Okay, so that case, let me just press play once again. So this is, for example, the mBot, the soccer game that we were talking about before. See, so if you had your controller already programmed, you can move the mBot depending on which key you're pressing, and just try to get the ball across the field and into the net. Okay, that'll be a main idea. And let's look at another one that yeah, Valentina, score for the blue. All right, and let's look at another one that David shared with us, which was the maze game, I think it was. Let me see. Yeah, the maze solving game. Okay, look at this one here. Do you see what's moving on top that look like eyes? That's actually a sensor that would allow us to tell distance. That's why see it looks to one side, it detects there's something in there, and then it moves the other way when it finds that there's nothing there. And in this case, it's not even being controlled by the controller itself. You could program the way that the what happens when the sensor detects that there's something in front of it. For example, it may turn like a half a turn. We could think about degrees, like for example, 90 degrees, 45 degrees, and it will be doing this automatically by itself. It's not like you were controlling and making a left turn or a right turn. It just depends on the sensor. It detects something and then it moves a specific way depending on what your program said that it should do. Okay. Okay, and that is it for this.
Hey everyone, welcome to Forward.
Oops, I'm sorry. Is this commercial that came up? Okay, so that's it as far as that, as far as those videos that I wanted to show you. And now just some reflections on today's class. Or if you guys want to share, how did you find, assembling the mBot itself? Was it easy? Was it hard? Can anybody share? How did you find that experience? Okay. All right, guys. Then I guess we are done for today. Thank you very much for being here, and I look forward to working with you. We will be starting next week, on Monday. So it'll be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we'll see each other a bit more often. Okay, for the next 3 weeks. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. What I'm going to do now is I will upload the files that we used today, the PowerPoints, that you can look at it. I'm also going to upload a screenshot, for example, of the code that I use for the mBot so that you can look at it. All right?
Yes, thank you, Daniel.
All right. All right, David. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
And enjoy your weekend.